10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wrestle Talk podcast. This is episode 538. You heard that right, number 538. Either y'all completely enjoy us or we just absolutely have no lives. Either way, it works for us. Let's roll with it. Gabe, how you been, buddy?
I just want to make sure my mic's coming in clear. Am I coming in all right?
You're coming in clear. I'm getting a little bit of echo on my end. Are you hearing it good?
I don't hear an echo on my end, so.
Oh, well, I mean, I could live with it if you can, you know.
But, dude, I'm doing all right. I mean, let's just say that episode of Monday Night was definitely interesting.
Definitely. It seems like every year so far since he's been back, he's getting slapped by somebody right before WrestleMania. He's getting some kind of insult to the family. I think it's almost like it's rehashing the same stories. We dogged the hell out of CM Punk for doing that. Now Cody's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, as a Cody fan, unfortunately, I really have to kind of call it what it is. And the only thing that'll make it okay is if, Randy beats him, which, I mean, he will, but,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Or he should, rather. I don't know if he will, but you know how it goes.
I'm hoping he does.
But, we got a lot to talk about it. So for those of you for joining us, I just want to say good to see you from you. That's David Owens. Sick. It's good to see you, man. So we're going to do something a little different tonight. This is more shooting from the hip sort of for us, where let's talk wrestling for the past couple, whether that's old school, new school, what's happening right now in the world of professional wrestling, whether that's WWE, Ring of Honor. We do have a couple questions for our high spots, I know, but I figured a lot of this topic was going to be the back half of it is, us just talking about, I figured we were going to review Monday Night Raw because, I'm assuming you watched it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hit and miss, but we got to come up with a different term other than like shoot from the hip. Last time I did that, I wound up with kids, so we got to do something a little different.
Never ceasing to amaze me, Ace. But before we get into it, we do have a couple of things that we got to take care of here in the Wrestle Talk podcast. As always, we can't get too ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, always get ahead of ourselves here. So we at the Wrestle Talk podcast have to thank our great sponsors. Gabe, you want to read them out for us?
As always, the Wrestle Talk podcast would like to thank all of our fantastic sponsors, getting us to episode 538, including Retro Zone, Painter's Dream Production, that's head by Big Tatty B. Perry, be sure to hit him up. The Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, Doomed Outfitters, that's read by this guy right over here. Hit him up for any of your commission needs, whether that's title belts or any specifications, World Domination Wrestling Alliance, and the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group.
There we go.
All righty. Now, the thing is it's we did have our scheduled people for here tonight, but on behalf, just to kind of pull the curtain back here, two of our hosts had some prior engagements, last minute things. These things happen, folks. We won't go into too much detail, but we just leave it to where it is because I can't tell you the amount of times I've needed you guys to cover my ass. So all is well. We're making it work.
Yeah, but you kind of got to call it what it is. You're like, look, man, you got it. You're supposed to do it. Why are you not here? But I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave it alone. You had all this time to schedule something. And, like she said, Thursday, Tuesday of every month, guys.
Now, in all of our defenses, as far as guests are concerned, we have been trying. This isn't a lack of us, not finding a guest and that nobody did it. It's that people are bitches and they don't want to follow up when we tell them, hey, you want to check out our show?
What gets me, and I know this is a little bit of a shoot and shout. We might start that a little early. If you are asked to be a guest, then that is somebody taking the time to acknowledge you and your accomplishments and saying, hey, look, we see you. Why don't you come on the show? Why don't you help us to expose you, give you a little bit of exposure, give us a little backstory, get these people out there to see you, not just locally, but I mean, the Wrestle Talk podcast is showed all over America, all over the world. Honestly, it's everywhere. So you get almost worldwide exposure just by showing up right here, and you don't take the opportunity. Like, how serious are you about your career if you don't take the opportunity to come here and at least give fans a chance to get to know who you are? That's what I don't understand.
Well, and it's a different thing if somebody charges for it. Like I recently reached out to AJ Francis, and he charges by the hour, which make no mistake, your boy's hustling soon, so I'm going to get that money. I will make this man show up on this podcast. But that's different. That's knowing what your time is worth. But when it comes to the fact that, you know, like you said, Ace, that we get these people where like we'll hit them up and then they either cancel on it. Well, okay, not cancel, but they never follow up. You know, we say, all right, cool, you interested in the show? Yep, awesome. Here's the dates. Never, you know, ghosted, just nothing. And, you know, I'm not trying to pretend like we're the next big thing, like we're Chris Van Vliet or, you know, Wrestle Talk, what is it, Parts Fun Known, like all the major professional wrestling outlets. But also I understand that
we have actual like plaques and acknowledgement from not only the wrestling world, but the states that we're broadcast in. So, I mean, this is a big thing, a lot bigger than what people think it is.
Well, and I always want to throw it back to some of my favorite guests that we've had on the program, and I always love to keep up with them. But Dustin Nguyen, I don't know if you've been catching up with his career, Lacey. I'm not implying causality, ladies and gentlemen, all right? I don't want to deny this man's ability because this man's been hustling since day one. Yeah. But I'm just saying, man showed up on the Wrestle Talk podcast. He's on TNA with Ash Elegance next. So
our next guest,
if you think you're too good for us, I understand, but also you're wrong and you're a moron. But
I don't want to spoil it, but our next guest is actually a big member of the NWA right this minute. So I mean, big time deal. He's making a lot of moves, a lot of splash out there, and I mean he's getting known. And as far as his suplexes, I'm telling you, if you watch this man, which I'm not getting ahead of myself, we'll save all that, but just tune in for the next show. Tune in, man. When he comes on, this man's amazing.
It's gonna be great, but. You know, that's neither here nor there. You know, we want to save our rants and our frustrations for the shoot and shout segment, but we got some very important business to take care of before we dive headfirst into this.
Most important part of the show right here.
Absolutely. So as always, we ask for those of you in attendance here for the Wrestle Talk podcast, if you could please remove your hats, place your hands over your hearts as we pay tribute to the greatest country on God's green earth, that is America, damn it.
America, baby.
Every easier, does it?
And that's almost as inspirational as the ending of The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club was one of the dumbest movies. I'm sorry, I was born and raised in the '80s. I hated The Breakfast Club, but the ending of it was the best part, where the dude just walks out and for whatever stupid reason throws his hand in the air like an idiot. Yes, and it didn't matter how sucky the movie was. That part stuck out, and he's like, "Whoa," So anyway, but yeah, that was my little thing there. But go ahead.
I think you might have to mute your mic. I'm doubling. Whoop, wait, are we good? Okay, we're good. We're good. I was getting an echo. I wanted to make sure we were good. But we got a lot to talk in the world of professional wrestling. So, like I said, folks, this is sort of a by the cup sort of thing. We're sort of experimenting to see if this format works for a future endeavor, just to see if we can try it in case we don't get all of our eggs in one basket or we don't get all of our our chicks in order. But I want to start with I'd like to start with, if anything, if you guys have any questions that you are interested in asking us, feel free to hit them down below. All right, feel free to let us know. We'll pull up them as we go through the night. But do we still have our high spots questions available so we could answer those and then just let hour 2 be our thing?
We do. We actually got some high spots. We have 2 that we actually did not get to before. So we have some. They're on there. And one actually is more of a rehash, but the fact that they have changed up some of it, I mean, we might as well bring it back up.
All right. So you know what? Let's throw it the DJ money, and we're going to jump into our high spots segment.
All right. DJ money here. Oh, let's find DJ money.
Mic check, mic check. Yeah. All right. Wrestle Talk Podcast. DJ Money. Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to High Spots, where we pop news like lamb chops. We talk shop, coming through the screens of a laptop and non-stop like I'm running speakers of blacktop. We hit hard like chair shots and backdrops, like a spark flash, look like a barely fly. Now that's hard. We up the steam while they stay slow. Wrestle Talk Podcast. Now they know we about to start the show.
All right. We're into our high spot segment, ladies and gentlemen. So, there we go. DJ Money, we love you, but we can't have you for more than long. We're going to get copyright straight.
We got a little help backstage tonight, so huge shout out to Miss Susie House for being able to step in and help us out backstage tonight, as always. And, good God, I'm on a roll with this nonsense. They're going to actually start thinking I halfway like them, because for some reason, even yesterday or the other day, I was complimenting John Hoss, and that was just, it left a bad taste in my mouth, and now I'm complimenting Susie. So, yeah, I got to start doing something. It's almost like, you watched American Pie, right? And it's a scene where Stifler and Finch, they halfway get along, and they're like, God, I hate not hating you. And then they're like, anyway.
I think we can relate to that in more than one ways when it comes to those. But don't worry, we'll make them. We'll make up for it after we win those titles at Universe Mania.
Yes, I'll give them all more reason to hate me.
There you go. But we've got a couple of high spots questions here. So these are what we have left over. But the thing is wrestling is always relevant, and there's a lot to talk about. Okay. There is one topic that I wasn't able to get, but I figure we can talk about it at some point, just because I want to know what you guys think about it. But if we want to throw in our first question, just rattle up and see what we got.
So let's if we can that randomizer hit there. Randomizer. Uh-oh.
I think it broke.
All right. So this was one I don't think we got to. And we had the debut of Brock Lesnar's daughter officially in WWE. Where does this leave his career? And rumored possible retirement. Now, I don't know if anybody actually caught a lot of her when she come in. She didn't really do a whole lot. But that leaves a lot of questions, because, there's rumors that he's fixing to retire. There's rumors that, what's next for him after WrestleMania, because, as you're saying, he's going against, like, a huge opponent he hadn't really faced before. And odds are, this guy can dominate Lesnar.
I want to say this, can we before we rattle onto the question, because there's some credence to it, just because I want to talk about this. Mm-hmm. Has anybody been more over than Lesnar than Obafemi right now? Because holy shit, this dude is electric right now.
Oh my God! And then the fact that he just steps on him, and just to pull the curtain back, like, hey Susie, how you doing?
Hey, no, I just, what? I want to say something about this one. First of all, Obafemi, oh my God, he is a specimen like you wouldn't believe. He is out. He's huge. He is what Brock Lesnar used to be. Really. And as far as Brock's daughter goes, are you sure that's not Brock in a dress or something? Because that chick looks so much like her dad, it ain't funny.
You can't say that's not.
That's his kid.
Yeah, I meant to say, I'm like, you can't say it's not his daughter.
Yeah, but how many people are brave enough to say that to her face, though? That's what I'm wondering.
The thing is I'll say it only because I don't envy being the guy who's dating her right now. I don't know if you guys have seen that photo with Brock in the background. I'm just like, okay. I don't know anybody who willingly jumps into a killer whale's mouth, but do you?
Yeah, I mean, good luck to him. I wish him all the best, and
Now I have to ask Susie, as far as Obafemi is concerned, do you see him beating Brock? And then I have to ask this to both of you, just to entertain the idea, because this is what I want to happen. Do you see Obafemi squashing Brock?
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, if he's going to retire, to me, then this is his time to pass the torch. And what better way for Brock Lesnar to pass the torch than to get the ever-living crap beat out of him by Obafemi? I mean, that would just put Oba so over, it's not even funny.
Like, the thing is, too, and I as much as I have my hang-ups about Lesnar, because, like, I've been the most vocal about things I don't like about him, just because I wasn't crazy about the whole Suplex City thing. And, I'll be honest, it's just because he's chewed up and spit out some of my favorite wrestlers. So, wah, wah, wah. I complain because my indie darlings got hurt, right? But the thing you can't deny about Lesnar, and I will not have a discussion about this with anybody, because this is a whole topic in and of itself, is that the number one thing that Lesnar does better than most people give credit for, that people don't pay attention to, despite the fact that this man is as dominant as he is when he wrestles, this man sells like you would not believe.
Oh, yeah.
If you rewatch that match with Goldberg at Survivor Series, he made that spear look like he shattered a vertebrae. It was ridiculous. This man knows how to make somebody look like gold. And I think it's hysterical because you guys can remember the match or the night when Oba powerbombed him. He was telling him, "Put your foot on my chest."
Yes.
And he queued that up. So if anybody knows how to make the number one thing with Brock Lesnar that everybody agrees with on, despite the guy has like a, not attitude problems, but he has a type A personality, right? Is that if Brock likes you, he will sell his ass off for you. And I think if anybody deserves it right now, it's Obafemi. And God, I just want to hear the noise the crowd makes if this man eats him alive. I would just, to me, if Obafemi does that, that will make up for all of the times that Brock Lesnar has defeated a black WWE champion. Because I'm sorry, you're not gonna deny the fact that this man has always dethroned anybody, whether that's Bobby Lashley, whether that's Kofi Kingston, whether that's Big E. So I'm like, this is all of that piled into one person. The force of Obafemi getting back for all of those losses, for all the bullshit that we had to deal with for 5 years.
And The Rock, he beat The Rock too. So I mean,
there you go. That absolutely counts.
He beat Booker too.
Well, don't forget, he messed up the Undertaker streak, and that one was actually him and Heyman did it on their own. That was not called. That was not a point or a shot that he was supposed to do, but he did it.
They stepped out on that one, I think, on their own. So, I mean, I wasn't really impressed with that. And I was one of those that I think The Undertaker should have retired undefeated at WrestleMania because it just would have meant more. And if anybody deserved to keep that particular streak going, keep it. I mean, title streaks, that's meant to be broken. But that streak at WrestleMania, that was meant to go on forever.
And my thing is that, and I'll try to bring it back to the question just because I know we're getting a little off topic here, but is the fact that I don't mind that he lost the streak, because at the end of the day, everything in wrestling has to end at some point. And I don't mind when it does, just for the sake of it. And what I mean by that is somebody eventually kicked out of Baron Corbin's End of Days, right? Every move that's ever not been kicked out of has been kicked out of in some way, shape, or form, whether you did it or not, right? And at the end of the day, every record has been broken. So it's one of those things where I don't mind that The Undertaker lost at Mania. What I mind is where he decided to end it. Now, granted, the Boneyard match was dope, but the fact that this man was always looking for that perfect ending and could never find it was my issue. Because I'm sorry, the match with Roman fucking blew the fat one.
Oh, yeah. Now, okay, I'm going to have to call this one out. Now, we have Brock versus Austin should have happened, but we know what Austin did. Now, look, as a fan and as somebody who has been in the business with something like that, I have to agree with Austin. I have to side with Austin. you have a match that was built to be one of the greatest of all time. If you had Austin, that was the biggest face at the time, against Brock Lesnar, the biggest name coming into the business at the time, and the man dominated. Why would you make him lose a meaningless match? And he was meant to lose. Austin was meant to lose. And he had never had a problem. He was very open about this. He
has said it, yes.
To Lesnar. He did not want to do it on a Monday Night Raw where it was not set up to be a big event. And for that kind of caliber match, why would you waste the opportunity? That is as stupid as never having Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan wrestle each other at WrestleMania. You know how that would have been the most amazing thing. And then we had to settle for some ignorant little Starrcade match over in WCW. And it's just like, why? Why would you have the very first time they ever wrestled each other at some lame event? I know it wasn't Starrcade, but it was some lame event over there in WCW. And it was like,
wasn't it Bash at the Beach?
I believe so. But you had WrestleMania with both these guys there, and you didn't take advantage of it. You had Sting and The Undertaker there, and you didn't take advantage of it. So I don't really see that was something that you could really fault Austin for. You know, Austin knows the business, and you know how bad that would have just ruined that whole thing. And I honestly think the crowd would have turned on anybody at that point. I mean, look how bad he got treated after he beat The Undertaker. Imagine him beating Austin on like a Monday night. He would have never taken off, and his career would not be what it was if they had allowed that to happen.
The trajectory of his career, I still think he would have been successful, but the way that it approached would have been very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since we're still on the topic of Brock, I just want to give my opinion on this. As far as his daughter is concerned, you know, I always say it's too close to the ball dropping, but it's only because I think we all know that nepotism in pro wrestling is a very much double-edged sword. Sometimes when you are the son or daughter or you know, child of a professional wrestler, that means you have a standard to live up to. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to write her out before she's actually done anything. I know she is a athlete of some kind. I think she does shot put. I can't remember.
Yeah. And
she has legs like tree trunks. So, I mean, she definitely seems physically capable. But as we all know, shot put and wrestling are very different things. So do I not see her becoming a wrestler? I mean, it's possible. I felt like it was just for the entrance itself.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I don't mind hearing about people like, you know, Brian Pillman's son. Yeah, you know, outside wrestler, but it's like Brock is still wrestling and have his daughter still there. I know he's retiring soon, or, you know, supposedly retiring, but I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I feel like we're all going to have that aftertaste in our mouth where it's like, how do you follow up Brock Lesnar? Like, even if she was the most sound wrestler you've ever seen in your life, how do you follow that? You know,
look at all the wrestling families and dynasties we have. You know, even Cody says it in the beginning of his, you know, when he comes out to wrestle, you know, wrestling has more than one royal family. I mean, you know, you've got the Ortons, you know, 3 generations of Orton. You know, you have, 2 or 3 generations of Rhodes, Runnels, whatever. You know, you've got look at Roman's family tree alone. I mean, you know, look at all the Samoans and all the stuff that's going on there. You know, you can look at nowadays at almost any wrestler and see the family, you know, the Flairs, you know, it's all there. For the long time, it was the Guerreros, you know, all the Guerrero people and you know, and then the Iron Claw movie was made about another wrestling dynasty family. You know, I mean, you've got so much history, but a lot of times in what I see, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Cody, but I think Cody has surpassed his dad's legacy. I think Cody's legacy is probably a little better than Dusty's. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Dusty, I really did. But you know what?
You're stepping on Ace's toes right now. I can keep my tongue safe. I can debate you on this, but also I respect your opinion because it's up for grabs. But I know Ace is feeling strongly about this as somebody who used to grow up in the NWA days.
I'll put it like this: not everybody can be Charlotte Flair, and I give that woman all the props in the world. I don't care if you like her or not. That is hands down. She will go down as the greatest women's wrestler of all time. Charlotte Flair has everything about it to surpass her dad. She has the
Becky
talent.
Lynch is. She's not the only one that says that.
Yeah. So the problem is, okay, well, Becky Lynch is not, anyway. So look at, and I'll look no further than The Rock's daughter. Okay. She made a big splash. Everybody. Now, this is supposed to be one of the biggest names ever in sports entertainment. And his daughter was a flop and a joke. Okay. So you're not going to always get that Ric Flair, like lightning in a bottle when it comes to even surpassing to Charlotte Flair. With Brock's daughter, I really believe that Brock's daughter has the talent. I believe that she is going to be something if they do not book her as stupidly as they did Ronda Rousey. And unfortunately, I believe because of the build, I believe because of that beast mentality, I think they're going to try to book her like Ronda Rousey, and I think she's going to be a flop. Now, maybe not, but I don't think the fans are going to accept her as quickly as they would somebody like Charlotte or somebody like look at Natalya. Natalya was huge when she first came in, and I believe in all fairness, up until recently, I really thought Natalya was going to surpass her dad. And that was just something I really felt at the time.
I mean, I'd argue she has, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. So I don't know. Not everybody is going to be, Charlotte Flair. I'm sorry.
Some think Charlotte Flair is not related to Ric Flair. Well, and then the thing is, in the very same conversation, for every Charlotte, this is the point I try to make when it comes to. I don't like to call Nepo babies, but also, I call a spade a spade. But the fact is that, for every Charlotte Flair, you have a David Flair. And no disrespect, yeah. I'm not, I'm separating the wrestler from the actual person, right? But it's like for every David Flair, not even just that. I can think of a better example. For every Hulk Hogan, you got a Horace Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Or even Brooke Hogan. So that my point stands.
Yeah, and not everybody's going to be Randy Orton. Randy Orton's first generation. Bob Orton was amazing, but I mean, Randy Orton would go down as the greatest ever. And that's just my opinion.
For me, when you bring up people like Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar, and now talking about his daughter, who's like the shot push person, when these MMA fighters come over to wrestling, you don't see a lot of wrestling out of these people. You see a lot of MMA out of them. Mm-hmm. And it's not wrestling. I mean, it's not MMA, it's wrestling. And, that's my biggest problem with Ronda Rousey. I think she could be a good wrestler, but she's too reliant on the MMA stuff. And
I agree.
She kind of has this attitude that everyone owes her something because she's big bad Ronda Rousey. Well, you know what? I'd like to see Ronda Rousey go up against Brock's daughter. Mm-hmm. Let's see the two of them fight. I'd like to see that.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be something different. I can get behind that.
That kind of booking only worked for like Steve Blackman and Ken Shamrock.
I was going to say, the thing is I think there is a balance to MMA fighters because having a pedigree like that when it comes to being like they're a legit badass works. The thing is, though, I agree with you, Susie, that being a badass only gets you so far because you still have to understand how wrestling works.
Yes.
And therein lies the issue, is that because some of my favorite wrestlers, the best example I can think of, and I want to show you guys when you get a chance to, is Minoru Suzuki. This man was an originator of MMA. He was one of the first, before it was even called that. I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, it was called Pancrase. That was like, it was all about grapples and locks. This was like the precursor to MMA. And he was an OG. This dude was a menace back in the day. And it's one of those things where when he transitioned into wrestling, he got even better at it because he started to understand the psychology. He understands you already look at this guy and say, he can fucking kill you. But now it's becoming a showman about killing you. And that's the logic that I don't think people understand when it comes to it. Yeah, anyone can be a badass, but being a badass that gets everybody to cheer for them is the trick.
Well, and I want to know something else, and I think I'm going to set Gabe off here, Ace. What's with Danhausen? What is with this guy? Is he a wrestler, or is he a wrestler, or is he just comic relief?
You can be both.
I guess our truth kind of is, so,
R-Truth, Gold Dust. I can name a couple of these. Spike Dudley, like just the Hurricane. Like, guys, come on. This isn't anything new.
hang on now. In R-Truth's defense, before, I mean, the man's in his 50s and still outshines most everybody. He's already proven he's more than just a comic deal. This man was a former NWA champion. He, done all sorts of stuff. This man is a legit legend of the business, but he's treated like a joke by the WWE. I think that's just horrible booking. And I would love to see him go back to him being, Ron Killings. I would love to see that outside of just being
They dropped that ball so fucking hard. I don't mean to swear, but God, they had such a good real angle.
You can't always blame though the bookers. You got to blame like Ron Killings too, because
I absolutely can't blame the bookers for this.
Yeah, I'm not going to be. I don't want you booking me that way. That's not who I am. So
no, because
if he's going to let them use him that way.
No, the thing is like I absolutely can blame the bookers for that, because at the end of the day, not everybody's John Cena and can say no to something. The thing is especially for somebody like Truth, who got fired to begin with, he immediately gets hired back and says, "Okay, this is your gimmick," and you go, "Nah, that's not going to work for me." You're biting the hand that feeds you immediately. I'm just saying.
No reaction. This is what gets me about that, and I've said this before. They did all that whining on the internet, and they chanted for him, and boo-hoo, R-Truth, R-Truth. He comes back, and where's the crowd at? Crickets. So I think the internet fans are completely just ruining a lot of that nonsense, and they let him go for a reason. I honestly don't think we would have missed him on TV. We wouldn't have cared. It would have moved on.
What's
the show
with the Ron Cena thing?
And now he's copying.
What's with Ron Cena? I don't get it.
He's copying
Ron
Stone Cold.
Cena. That's just...
now to bring it back to your question, Susie. Danhausen is a wrestler. Yes. The thing is that I feel like they're using him as effectively as he can be, because what made him such a name in AEW was the fact that he was injured, so he actually couldn't wrestle. Now he can wrestle, but what I like is that it's almost like they're kind of hyping it up. And the thing is, the man knows how to go. And the man knows how to go in more ways than one, because you guys know how he has the little jar of teeth. It's because he's pulling them or knocking them out of people's mouths. This man knows how to hardcore wrestle like you would not believe. But he is a very capable person. But what I like is that the best wrestlers are the ones who don't have to wrestle. I'm like, if he's making merch sales, literally walking out and saying, "You are Christ," then why you got to do the hard part?
I don't know.
He's moving merch.
He is, but I mean, and you got to think now. Just I know a lot of people. Okay, so if we're gonna jump on another, can we jump to another high spot? Because I got one right now I'm fixing to talk about.
Okay, I just wanted you to finish your thoughts on that, but yes, we can jump into our next one.
We'll jump into the next one. Okay. All right, Jelly Roll. This match of Jelly Roll, and the internet is blowing up. They don't think that Jelly Roll as an and this is what really bothers me. Okay, so you got a lot of internet fans, which once again, you know how I feel about those. They're claiming that bringing on celebrities, now this contradicts everything about themselves. They're bringing on celebrities like Jelly Roll is burying the talent and not really helping the business. Now, this is what bothers me, and I'll go ahead and throw my thoughts out on this, because especially those that's watching. For one, it is called sports entertainment. They are entertainers. They are actors. They are singers. They are doing everything. These people are even doing sports. A lot of these people have a background in college football. They're not just wrestlers. They actually perform in a scripted show. It's not fake. It's choreographed, and it is scripted. So to complain about Jelly Roll coming on and doing his thing because he's a singer is as stupid as saying, "Oh, well, John Cena can't pop up on a soap opera." Okay,
or talk show.
Yeah, you see how that contradicts. Like, okay, why is John Cena showing up on the Tonight Show? He's a wrestler.
Well, what's between Jelly Roll coming in and Logan Paul?
Thank you.
Not even just that. Like,
Logan Paul again.
WWE
turned wrestler.
I've said this on the show before, but it's like celebrities are ingrained, especially the thing is, there's a distinction between what part of wrestling. When it comes to celebrities with something like New Japan Pro Wrestling, I understand the argument, because they treat theirs like a sport. They're very much like, no, this is serious. This is it's a scripted performance, but this is very much, these guys are athletes. They have just sit down interviews and they treat it like that. But for WWE, I'm like, guys, did you forget what that E stood for?
Mm-hmm.
Entertainment, exactly. And the thing is, I've said this on air, but celebrities are built into the foundation of WWE. The first WrestleMania was built off the back of fucking Mr. T, and Muhammad Ali was the referee.
Yes.
Well, and don't
Boys-
forget, Ozzy's been there, and
Mike
Chuck
Tyson.
Norris has been there, and
Down,
had, there's been other celebrities that have been there.
Jay Leno, Ron Simmons.
Our president has been. Yeah.
I'm trying to think, just off the top of my head when it comes to that. Cyndi Lauper, dude, for God's sake.
The very first WrestleMania against Ileana Kai, they actually wrestled for the women's title, and she was a celebrity, a singer, wrestling one of the best wrestlers, female wrestlers ever. So I mean, you gotta come on, man.
Now, guys, I have to ask, since we're on the topic of celebrities, what are some of your personal favorite celebrity appearances in wrestling and why? So, Ace, let's start with you. Who are some of your favorites?
Hands down, Ozzy Osbourne and Jean-Claude Van Damme. I loved it when they was on there. Van Damme was always one of my favorite actors anyway. Growing up, it was just that whole sports deal. Ozzy Osbourne, always a huge Ozzy fan. And when he come on, and it was just the concert they done, everything, it was awesome. The way he hosted it. And he's been on there several times, before that. But that last appearance was just, oh, yeah. I mean, it was hilarious. The whole skit with DX and everything, that was too funny.
What about you, Hobbs?
I think my favorite was Chuck Norris. I love Chuck Norris. I mean, he wasn't afraid to kick somebody. I mean, he got right into it. I think Chuck Norris was awesome.
Now, you guys aren't ready for my answer. RoboCop.
Go ahead.
Yes. Power Rangers, boy. I forgot all about that, man. The Power Rangers.
RoboCop and Chucky.
Yes, Chucky. I remember Chucky.
There are so many wrestlers. Like, I can't even make this up. That wrestling is so fake sometimes, I swear. It's the best thing ever.
To bring him up, even when he come out and broke the cage and let him out and Sting thrown out there and done it, man, oh my God, that was
ridiculous. I just like that. They named the pay-per-view after it, dude. Return of RoboCop. I'm like, all right, it's the surrogate sequel.
Oh, David Arquette won the world title, and you're like, oh my, you talk about celebrities. You know what I'm saying? The man won the world heavyweight title, the most prestigious title in the world at the time, and it got to David Arquette. And you're like, wait, what?
Even he knew that was a shitty idea. Yeah. Like, that's how bad it was. When the guy who was involved was like, this is the fact that he looked at Vince Russo and said, how do you not see that this is the worst possible thing you could do?
If you go back and watch his indie matches, though, he's good. He actually got into wrestling. He is
my
good.
My man went into it. Now, it's a good thing that Nick Gage didn't almost kill him, but
I can't think of his name now, but the guy they used to call Mr. Baseball when Andre the Giant was choking him, and he was in there. I love that one too.
Yeah,
that was great. And Pete Rose was there.
And if we're throwing out as far as now, celebrity matches are hit and miss. So one, for example, I mean, you got to give credit to the man who had to help carry him through this match, but Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, that's true. That was okay.
No, because to me, that was a good match. For what it was, I'm like, people like to mark on it and be like, oh, it's the worst WrestleMania main event. I'm like, hardly. I'm like, from a booking perspective, it's weird, but like the match was solid. I'm like, for a football player turned wrestling match, I've seen worse.
It was probably one of the most wasted one. Like, they had a lot of build up to it, and Money Mayweather was probably one of the most wasted celebrity appearances. I think that was just a joke, and I don't know. I've never liked him even from a boxing standpoint. To me, he was the original Logan Paul, or Jake Paul. He was like the original Jake Paul when it comes to boxing. Like, I'm not going to take a loss. I'm going to pay you. And everybody knows his matches are paid. Money Mayweather is a joke. That man, pound for pound, would get his ass beat by anybody else if he didn't have that kind of money. So, I mean, I'd never liked Money Mayweather. And then for them to bring him in and face the Big Show of all people, who picked him up with one hand and threw him like 30 feet in the damn air. Really? Like,
now, I want to throw this out there since you guys brought him up, but given the first of all, can we talk about the amazing decision to throw the WWE World Tag Team Champions on the Vision just on Monday night about 3 weeks before Mania is about to happen? Fucking phenomenal, right? But given his recent ass kicking at the hands of his opponent, do you guys see Jake Paul making his way towards the WWE? And if so, do you think he will make a splash, or where do you think he falls on it?
I don't see Jake Paul coming in. Honestly, this is my predictions for that, because you know for a fact that the Usos are probably going to want to go back for the titles. And when they go back for the titles, I believe that with all the nonsense going on with Tom Brady is going to be the one that cost him the titles, and the Usos win them back. So it'd be Tom Brady, not this other guy. Tom Brady would be the one to do it.
Honestly, the thing is I have my opinions about the Paul brothers, right? And the thing is, I think we all cathartically agree that this man getting the ever-loving shit punched out of him by that guy was the greatest thing that could have ever happened to this kid, because I'm sorry, like, this dude was nothing. It's like, and you know what the funniest part about that whole thing is he was holding back too. He could have busted him up something fierce, and he was like, nah, I only knew one shot. That was it. Lights out.
Yep.
But in terms of actually booking him, because I'll be honest, I do not see this man going back to boxing. And if he does, he's going to be ridiculed through and through. But if he does make his way to WWE, Jake Paul definitely has a good way at making people pissed off. So heat magnet or not, he could work. And let's be real, I like that tag team more than I liked him with Austin Theory, because like that, it makes me sense. They're brothers.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of does. I would like to see Jake Paul come in just as entertainment. I mean, I don't dislike the guy when it comes to like just entertainment. I don't like the fact that but I don't like the fact that he took in a sport that was real. It wasn't scripted, and he made it into a joke. I mean, come on, dude. He beat Mike Tyson of all people. Come on. Nobody believed that. They even exposed it afterwards. Both of them took a lawsuit and laughed about it. They both laughed about that match because they knew it was fake. Mike Tyson was holding back the whole time. And you're like, and we're supposed to take him seriously. Like I don't know, man. I can't stand it. I think he made a joke out of it.
I think that's my thing with Jake, is that he feels like he's in the wrong business. You know what I mean? Like I'm like if he took that character, like everything he did, because it's an act. Let's be real. That boxing career is a joke.
It is.
So it's an act. But if he took that character and applied it to WWE, I'm like he'd be healing it up.
Yeah. I mean, think about The Miz. Everybody sleeps on The Miz. The Miz was a damn TV show, dude, on a reality TV show for a bunch of teenagers. And this man is one of the greatest in the business. And you're like, wait a minute. Now, The Miz, of all people, nobody took that man seriously.
Wasn't it The Real World? I can't remember.
I think it was. I think it was Real World. I'm not really sure. I know it was one of them little girly shows. My wife used to watch it all the time. I'm like, please turn that. And she'll tell me some weird nonsense that they said on the show. And I'm like, baby, we're in South Georgia. I don't even know what you just said. Like, that's a completely different language. We don't watch that kind of stuff. I can care less what's going on in Los Angeles.
Now, I want to say, Susie, how do you feel about the potential of Jake Paul making his way to WWE?
You know, I'm really not big on either one of those Paul brothers. You know, I mean, I just think they're, you know, they take what bit of fame they have for granted, I think. And they just want to kind of put their fingers into everything. I mean, look at Jake Paul just made a big deal out of selling. I mean, not Jake Paul, but his brother just made this big deal out of selling a Pokemon card or something.
Trust
like,
me,
really?
That's the reason I can't stand this idiot, is because he completely uprooted the market for Pokemon cards. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not trying to take a Pokemon card game seriously. The thing is, I'm here on behalf of the fans who are just playing the card game, not fucking trying to sell it like it's stocks. So it's one of those things where I'm like, he is the sole reason why there are people. I don't know if you guys heard this story. There was a dude who got assaulted recently for scalping those Pokemon cards. They were just fighting each other inside of a Target. And I'm like, all right, cool. Thanks, man. Glad the Holo Charizard was worth it, you prick. So and then what cracks me up is that he's slowly transitioning to Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And the thing is I'm not going to get into this because nobody cares, but is the fact that unlike Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards have this weird thing about where they get reprinted. So it's like a card will come out and it'll be like $100, and then next set, $5. That's it. So it's one of those things where I'm like, he cannot do what he did to the Pokemon cards with Yu-Gi-Oh. He is more than welcome to try, but I honestly want him to, just so I can get all these scalpers to fucking waste their money. But that's just me.
Well, tell them to
Well,
stay
you
away
know,
from
I drive a special needs bus, and one of my kids on the bus is big into Pokemon. And I asked him the other week, you know, I said, "So do you trade your cards?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "Because you never know which ones are the fake ones." And he goes, "I mean, you can tell the fakes from the real ones." He said, "But I don't trade because when you trade with people, they tend to try and give you the fake ones for your real ones."
That's
And
true.
he's like, "I ain't trading mine." So I was like, "Okay." And I mean, this kid is like maybe 10, and he was schooling me on the Pokemon cards. And when I
Man's got it figured
mentioned
out.
the thing with the when I mentioned the thing with Jake Paul and you know selling the card, he said, "I hate that guy." I was just like, okay.
Good. I don't know his name, but kid, good for you. You're awesome.
You know what gets me, and it's Dennis, we're on the little Pokemon card thing. And it makes me feel old for one, but for two, I took that shit as a joke. Nobody in the '90s when I was a kid actually took that seriously. You know how many of those I threw away that are probably was worth millions now, and I just threw them in the trash can because I didn't care. I'm like, this is corny, this is stupid, and little kids got into it way later on. This was something that took off after I was like an adult. And as a kid, I threw that crap away. And I'm like, this ain't never going to take off. Millions of dollars for something I threw in the trash now. And I'm like,
Yeah. And I just, what cracks me up the hardest is
They
the
weren't
fact
as
that
good as they weren't as good as the wrestling bars, you know?
yeah.
You remember the wrestling bars when they came? I love those. I mean, I bought them things by the boxes.
Hulk Hogan, man.
Those were cool.
I couldn't stand Hulk Hogan. I used to bite the heads off of them just to do it.
No, I just, it's one of those things where as a 90s kid who grew up with Pokemon cards, I can tell you for a fact, nobody knew how the game played. we liked the cards and that was it. Nobody knew, like, I know now because I'm 27, but like as a kid.
I remember a time when those Pokemon things were going on and people are walking around with their cell phones going, you know, they're scanning everything and I'm going, what the hell? They were looking for Pokemon.
No, are we the Pokemon Talk podcast or the Wrestle Talk podcast? We got to get back on track. But I think I was gonna say I think we got it's. But do we have any more high spots questions before we jump into another segment? Because I think it's about that time for something. If you guys know what I mean.
So we have one more high spot, and it was going to be brought up. I will bring it up right here because it has changed again. We have more people bringing into the Hall of Fame this year. They just announced. Oh crap! And I had it on top of my head just then. The latest one. Got inducted. This is my question. With this year's inductees and all the ones they're adding to it, we already didn't really take it seriously to begin with. So when is enough when it comes to the Hall of Fame? When is it something that is legit going to be taken seriously, or is it going to be something that for now on is just going to be a bunch of hoopla? Anybody and everybody can be just in the Hall of Fame. Like, hey, you know what?
Aren't they even putting in this year Chuck Norris? Because he was. I
believe so. I really do. I know it was him and somebody else.
I think I heard somewhere they're going to put Chuck in, and I'm like, you know, I'm like, okay, but I mean, to me, it seems like there's more celebrities in the Hall of Fame than there are actually wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I mean, to be fair, we had a discussion about this. Is that the fact that certain wrestlers, and it's the thing is WWE's been good about kind of, you know, breaking the barrier down for who gets to be in. Because for a while, it was exclusively guys who were in WWE. They were very like particular about, if they weren't in our like maybe in WCW, but they had to have some kind of library with WWE. But as time went on, now they're incorporating more people where they've maybe had one match or they didn't even appear in WWE, but are relevant in wrestling. Mm-hmm. And you know, the thing is that I will always. The standard for the Hall of Fame will always be Coco Beware. And like no disrespect to the man, but like anytime you look at the list of people, the illustrious WWE Hall of Fame, you know, it's the Four Horsemen, Bruno Sammartino, you know, Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, Coco Beware. Like it's just right there.
DX. Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, there's like I think personally, and I know a lot of people feel differently, you know, I always thought that Chris Benoit was an excellent wrestler. And yes, I know that there were personal demons, there were personal issues. And a lot of that actually stemmed from his career, from what they said. I've heard conspiracy theories that really he didn't do it and somebody made it look like he did. You never really know. But to me, if you should induct him because of the career he had, because of his in-ring, abilities, because there wasn't anybody back in that time better than Chris Benoit. That dude he was tough and he was a damn good wrestler. And, I think his wrestling career should not be overshadowed by personal demons. I mean, look at everything Vince McMahon has gone through, but he's still a big name in wrestling.
As far as the Hall of Fame, just stop me if any of these people aren't actually in the Hall of Fame. Has Kevin Sullivan been added yet?
No. I don't
really?
Believe so. I don't believe so. I believe there's a lot of backstage stuff with him. I'm not really sure. Don't quote me on that, but I don't believe he's in. I would have to look it up to make sure, but I really don't think he's in there.
It's so weird to me.
Yeah.
And then Booker T's already been Hall of Fame. And then did they do Harlem Heat as well? They did both?
No, I don't believe so.
Well, then we got to get Stevie Ray in there, bro. Come on.
They
did? Okay, I was
his wife, Charmel.
Okay, dope. I was
Even Charmel was in.
Give this man his flowers.
There you go. So, okay, if not Chris Benoit, and I'll say it like this: if not Chris Benoit, put Nancy in.
I will always. I'm the biggest Benoit fan in terms of the man's work, but I feel like it's one of those things where it goes without saying that it's like if we could put him in the Hall of Fame, we will, but like that's really bad publicity. Yes, and I know it's one of those things where there's no such thing as bad publicity, but
that would be.
Yeah, I'm like WWE ain't that. They're not going to make that move. But I think if they want to circumvent that, put Nancy in. Because to me, I'm like you can tell the story about what happened with Benoit, but you can still make it nice because hey, Nancy did contribute to professional wrestling and she was a good person and. Yeah, they're on and there forth,
and she had her times where she was in the ring too. Nancy would throw down back in the day. So to honor the Benoit name, just the legacy as far as in the ring, put Nancy in. I don't believe that putting Chris Benoit. I would love to see him in there. I personally would. I'm one of those conspiracy people. I really am, and I know that a lot of people think that's stupid. I'm just happen to be one. Some of that just don't add up. But anyway, outside of that. I just don't believe that putting Nancy in would be a bad thing. I don't think that would be tasteless. I think that would be more acceptable than putting Chris Benoit.
And then I've already gone on to say this, but Owen's never going to get in. He absolutely deserves it, but his wife is not going to let them do it.
It's not that they don't want to put Owen in; it's that Owen's wife won't let him go in.
I mean, did you blame her though? I mean,
I don't. Are you kidding me? They want to try because I feel like they're trying to save face. They're like, "Oh,
because
sorry, we killed your husband. Here's a Hall of Fame plaque." Like,
let's make it better. They didn't even put. This is what pisses me off. They didn't put Macho Man in until after he died.
Well, yeah, and I can see that.
Okay, so now that I just brought up a good deal. Now, Dennis, this is just a random topic and stuff like that tonight. What do y'all think about them rumors? Because I know it took a long time for them to put Macho Man. He was blacklisted. Do you believe the rumors about him and Stephanie when she was 16?
Oh, dear God, are we doing
Come on now, let's be honest about it. Because I mean,
oh boy, are we at this point in the show?
Yeah, come on, man. Like they have even questioned Triple H. Triple H has a great sense of humor. I love that. They questioned Triple H, and he made the funniest comment talking about, okay, he's Macho Man. Like who would be pissed off about that? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's from a dad standpoint, I'd have killed him. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, the only reason this is how the story is supposed to have went. They were in a state where supposedly 16, and I know a lot of states 16 is like the legal age of consent. I don't agree with that. That's something that I think is disgusting. But they were in a state where 16 was legal age of consent. Supposedly, Macho Man and Stephanie had their little thing going. If that's true, I understand where he got blacklisted. Okay. But I mean, do y'all believe that rumor or do you believe it was something else?
The thing is, there's a lot of weight to it if you let your brain imagine but I feel like it must have been something. And you know what it is? It's not that I feel that way. I want it to be something else. It's like I don't like thinking about it for too long because it makes me uncomfortable. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh God. And then I'm reminded of all those ideas that Vince pitched on like for ideas for storylines that I'm like, oh boy, like poor
Vince
Stephanie.
is like a very sick person, and you're like, all these accusations come about Vince and all these storylines. You're like, dude, wait a minute. That's why it was so easy that Vince. It was easy to believe he did all that stuff because you're like, this man's sick in the head. He pitched out some really nasty stuff.
I'm just reminded of that time he got knocked off the cage and he fell onto the announce table and it didn't give way immediately and he bonked his head. And I'm just like, that was the last vestiges of Vince McMahon. He's since been replaced with Judge Doom from Who Framed Roger Rabbit because this man is a live action cartoon character. He is not. He is a rubber hose era squash and stretch, you know, Steamboat Willie, Popeye looking motherfucker with human skin on top. Because there's nothing about this man is real. I swear.
I could not stop laughing. I swear to God, during that Royal Rumble match, when he walked down there and blew his quads,
his quads.
Oh my God, look at it! I mean, he had chest bowed out and all, you know, and he come down there and just
he threw his jacket on the floor. Susie, have you seen that before? I'm sorry. It's just the fact that it's the funniest. Have you seen it before?
I'm not sure.
It's
I don't know that I have.
Is it 2006, 5? I can't remember. It's
2006 or 7, where John Cena and Batista went over the top rope at the same time. They both hit the ground, and he had to rush down there real quick and blew out his quads getting in the ring, and he sat there and restarted the match. And he
blew both of it. He jumped under the bottom rope, and he somehow tore both of his quads. And then he's yelling at them while he's sitting on the floor like a toddler. Like, it's the funniest thing in the world.
I mean, and that was so comical because at the time, watching it live, you're sitting there like, wait a minute, was this part of the match? Was this supposed to happen? And the acting was just so retarded. You're sitting there like, oh my God, this guy is like really flipping his shit.
Well, what cracks me up is that every time I watch it, it's like you see Cena and Batista do it, and it's like it's so perfect, it almost feels fake. Like it's like I know that's insane to think, but I'm like, maybe they did plan it that way. Like maybe they were just like maybe not the tearing the quads part, but I'm like, maybe they did want to try and engage the audience, but you know, the part where they put both their hands up because it's so it feels too perfect of a failure. You know what I mean? It's like you can't write that shit down, but it feels like they did because Vince McMahon is just that insane.
I understand.
Vince
like, okay,
always seemed to me like the way he walked.
Huh?
The way Vince walked, I always thought, you know, he had something stuck up his butt.
Yeah, that's
he did his own ego.
You know, that's what gets me. That's even with that segment, the way he walked down to the ring even made it look more fake. You're like, okay, as a boss, why would you walk down there like that? I mean, you don't. If you're really trying to change something real quick and get onto your guys, you're not going to walk down there like as a cartoon. You're going to come down there straight and be like, hey, guys, we got to talk, you know. And I've been a boss. I ain't never walked up in the office to go fire somebody and been like, you know, legs on like that.
True. But to be fair, that's been Vince McMahon's MO for like the past 40 years. Because the thing is my favorite thing about Vince McMahon is this dude has a hairline of like a thread when it comes to being sane to pissed off. And my favorite example is if you guys you guys know David Schultz, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this clip, and it was and this was golden age Vince. This is the, you know, swept back hair, bow tie, microphone, like all right, you know, gentlemen, like that version of Vince. And he's talking to him.
Yeah.
And he has a shotgun, and he's just like, it ain't loaded. And then it immediately goes off. And you just see the mask slip off, and Vince goes, "You stupid idiot!" Like he just immediately turns into McMahon, and it's the funniest. God.
I mean, do y'all remember?
I used to think Vince McMahon was one of the smartest men in the world. I mean, you have to think about it as the way the WWE has always been ran. You know, the way that everything, the promotion itself, the way everything happens. You had to think this is the smartest man in the world. And then you start hearing all these stupid backstage stories and you think this guy is a total idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, but when it comes to promoting the business, he was pretty smart. But when it comes to being a human being, I think he's from Mars or something. I don't know.
Do y'all remember that corny video that they made with all the wrestlers singing and dancing and clapping and doing all that little corny stuff? Oh my God. I remember when that come out and it hit like on a Saturday morning when I was watching it. And I'm like, what is this? Like, and you had Macho Man of all people and Hogan and everybody standing up. Hogan's back there acting like he's playing the guitar and stuff. And you're like, what the hell am I watching? Like, I put my cereal down, turned it off, and went outside. I'm like, I don't want to watch this.
Rockin' wrestling, man. Rockin' wrestling connection.
And they had a cartoon that Hogan come out with back then too, and all this other stuff. And you know, they had Tropic Thunder when he was on Tropic Thunder, which that was more of a WCW thing. And then of course they showed up on Baywatch. That was the dumbest episode of Baywatch ever. I'm a huge Ric Flair fan, and even then I was sitting there like, what the hell am I watching? Stop doing this! Like, stop it! Just don't.
You mean to tell me you didn't like Suburban Commando?
No, I never liked him as an actor, and I thought one of the dumbest things was Mr. What was it where he dressed as
Mr. Nanny?
Mr. Nanny. I just couldn't. Some people can pull that off, and some people can't. Hogan to me was not a good actor. Yeah, I just didn't.
What about The Rock as the Tooth Fairy?
I actually like that movie.
That's okay. Yeah, my daughter liked that movie nonstop. I didn't have a choice but to watch it. But
I prefer the game plan.
At least he's a good actor. The Rock is a good actor to an extent. He's typecast. I think he's never going to be anything outside of a typecast.
I don't think that it's that he's typecast. I think he likes being typecast. That's why I'm like, he's the one who's in charge of his movie decisions. I'm like, because the thing is he was in the Smashing Machine, and it was like he chose that, and that's a very different role in my opinion. He knows how to. I think that's the scary part is that people.
Sure.
Doom was good.
That movie was garbage. We are not having this discussion. That movie sucked.
My favorite movie with The Rock in it, sadly, is The Game Plan, where he's got the daughter and he's a football player and stuff.
Sadly, that movie's awesome. What are you talking about? I saw that in theaters.
I loved it, man. I love The Game Plan. That was my favorite movie with him in it. I didn't like really none of the rest of them. I was not really a Rock fan.
Dude, that was he was talking to the gorilla. That was cool. That was a cool one.
That was light rock. You're thinking of Rampage.
Yeah,
but it was like that was back when The Rock was in The Game Plan. That was Slim Rock. You remember when he still had like the black hair and he was a lot more like trim before he got cut?
I like the part of that movie where with the Rampage when the monkey flips him off. I thought that was just hilarious.
Well, if y'all remember right, he's in that John Travolta movie too, where he's like the gay actor. Oh my God, I could not stop laughing. And Pain and Gain, God, I could not stop laughing at that movie. He's good. I love him when he's trying to be funny and he's just natural. When he's not being typecast, he's great. In Pain and Gain, oh my God, that was one of the funniest roles he's ever been in. Outside of that, where he's with John Travolta in that one movie. But he's good. He just needs to stay away from the typecast. He needs to quit playing as the badass in every single movie. Like, dude, take a break. Don't take yourself that seriously.
You ever see him? There was that one show on TV where actors, like go up against each other singing and they lip sync. I think it was even called lip sync something. And he did a Taylor Swift song.
Yeah.
And oh my God, Rock had me on the floor when he was doing the Taylor Swift song.
I tell you who had me on the floor during that show was Triple H. Triple H come out and sang Let It Go from Frozen. Dude, God, man, I fell on the floor laughing at that because, he got into it. He had his hands in the air and every damn thing. And he had Kofi Kingston. The whole damn crew was sitting there just dying laughing because you had bulk-ass Triple H singing Let It Go. And I'm like, and knew the words to it. You can almost hear him on the mic singing. He was not like lip singing. He was singing this. And I'm like, this is freaking hilarious.
Now, I think we lost the plot at some point here. We got to reel it back a little bit back to professional wrestling. So with the high spots taken care of, I think there's a segment since we're reaching our second hour here, folks. Thank you for sticking with us, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you appreciate this. Let us know how you feel about this format, if we should try it again. But again, be sure to send us some comments. Be sure to let us know if you have any questions about how we feel about what's going on in professional wrestling. How far I go from Moana. Okay, so that's a different one. But there is a segment here that I think we need to take care of, and I think everybody knows where I'm going with this. But if we could just cue this up, because I know Ace has a lot to get off of his chest, and I'm sure, Susie, you got a couple of things that you want to say too.
Yes.
But as always, we'd like to...
It's just one of those days when you don't want to wake up. Everything is fun, everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life's on contract. Your best bet's to stay away, motherfucker. It's just one of those days. It's all about the he says, she says bullshit. you better quit letting that slip, or you'll be leaving with a fat lip. It's all about the he says, she says bullshit. I think you better quit talking that shit. It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain.
There we go. So as always, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shoot and Shout segment. So this is a little dedicated ditty that we have in our Wrestle Talk podcast where, like the song says, we just want to get everything that we feel, whether that's wrestling related or even just the world around us today, where we just want to say, you know what, fuck this. So part of me wants to start just because I feel like you guys got a lot more to say as far as, because I've actually been in a pretty good mood recently, thankfully. But I'm sure I could find something to complain about. Well, actually, you know what? I'll boil it down to this. Actually, you know what? I just had a brain fart. Somebody take the mic away from me. I'm like, no, why are we putting me in this area? No. Oh, goodness. Okay. So I just want to say the main thing that I feel the need to complain about is just the amount. I'm a very disorganized person, ladies and gentlemen. I have a lovely fiance who I like to call my secretary of life because, boy, howdy, I would lose my head if it wasn't attached to my body and this woman was here to help me. And unfortunately, I have this horrible luxury of not updating my email to where I keep getting spam. And let me tell you, I'm currently buried in email after email after email from whether that's TurboTax, which I currently no longer use. I get MLW updates, which is fine, but I get, everything from Indeed, where it's like, oh, congratulations, do you want to work at Dunkin' Donuts? Like, yeah, sure, that's the direction I want to fucking take with my life. Versus just everything from my receipts to emails for work to just random things that I have lying around. So if somebody could just figure out a way for me to streamline this process, that'd be great. But you know what? That's just me. You got a problem? I don't know if y'all heard that. My fiance's in the background.
All right. Well, so Susie, we'll let you go. Go ahead, Susie.
Oh, wow. I think my biggest shoot and shout is just fake people. You have people out there who pretend to be one thing when they're actually not, or they say, I don't like this, but then they partake in it. Or I don't do this, but then you catch them doing it. It's just, look, if you're doing something that you just don't think you should be doing, then don't do it. Be honest, be open. Don't lie. It's just, for me, it's just liars, cheaters, fake people, hypocrites. Just a lot dealing with those kind of people just get on my nerves, and like at work, there's people who have been at the job for years and all they do is complain about, management wants to do this and this sucks and I don't want to do this and this. And when you're new at a job, you really don't want to hear all the old people griping, and I mean, the OGs, hey, look, I'm not a young chick myself, but hey, just be real. And that's probably just my thing. Just be real,
Absolutely. So I guess it's my turn here. You wanna embarrass me and put me. So and I'll keep my blood pressure down this time. I get a little into it, and I got to watch what I do because this is a problem that, from a health standpoint, I'm not even going to lie, this has really caused issues with my blood pressure. But when I formed Doomed Outfitters, it's because it was a joke to start with. Hey, we're doomed as a species. You get on TikTok, you see stuff on Facebook, you see stuff on TV, just randomly, and you're like, oh my God, the newer generation's completely retarded. I think we're screwed. If this is what we're leaving our futures to, we're fucked, dude. Okay, we really are. And I hate to phrase it that way, but then we're doomed as a species. And what started as a joke has become more of a reality, just a pure reality. And because people do not have the same respect for the world, they don't have the same respect for life, they don't have the same respect for anybody. And, I know Susie had mentioned something about, hey, nobody wants to hear the old timers complain. Well, some of us have a lot to complain about. And the reason why is because we get talked to like dirt by some of these nasty, uneducated, very undisciplined idiots that sit there and they pile up and they listen to whatever it is on the radio, to listen to whatever, and even kids these days. I've sat there with my grandkids, and this was really heartbreaking because every once in a while I'll listen to what they're watching on TV and catch what they're listening to. And these little kids are very disrespectful to their parents. They're very disrespectful to people in general, especially adults, how they talk to them, how they act. And you're like, why is this little kid speaking to an adult that way without, like, why is all the teeth still in their mouth? And people were too soft. I know parents are too soft on their kids now. I grew up in a time frame where you had to walk outside and pick a switch for yourself. And if it was not good enough, then guess what? You got the water hose wrapped around your ass because it wasn't going to break. And we wasn't abused. We wasn't like traumatized by it. We learned respect and we learned discipline. And even to the day, I don't care if you're slightly older than me or not. I still show respect. It's still yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. I'm going to help do stuff. And ask me, especially somebody older, ask me to do something and gives me a direct order and say, hey, you need to stop doing that. I'm going to stop doing it out of respect for the fact that I was taught, hey, if somebody speaks and it's reasonable, you stop doing it. And I'll get into something that happened recently because I am probably just one of them old grumpy guys these days. But a lot of it is the fact that kids are stupid. They are very disrespectful because now mommy is jumping on TikTok showing everybody her, her OnlyFans, getting rent money. That's the sad reality. And baby brother's out running around just in nothing but a diaper with snot hanging out his nose, eating everybody's trash cans. They're idiots. Okay. That is the kind of stuff that I didn't grow up seeing. That's the kind of stuff that I don't like. And I really think people are stupider and dumber and dumber and dumber with every generation. Learn respect. Teach your kids respect. Teach them to value life and to value other people and what they've been through in life, because I would never speak to the older generation that way, because the older generation in my time, the older generation was the ones that was getting old from fighting in wars. If I would have backtalked one of them guys, them veterans from World War II and Vietnam would have drilled my ass and put me in the dirt. And you got to think that, from a certain time frame down, after certain wars were over with, these guys are not playing with you. These guys are not going to sit there and hold your little hand and be like, it's okay, I'm not going to let you talk to me like that one more time. You're being naughty. No, they're going to take behind the shed and they're going to beat the flying hell out of you, and that's what you deserve. And you know what the sad part is all these little idiotic game bangers are not going to just take an ass whooping and just go home like we used to. They're going to come back with guns. They're going to want to shoot the place up because they're pussies that can't handle an ass whooping, can't fight to begin with. That's why they're acting disrespectful. Half of them are little in the closet, little whatever you want to call them. I don't judge. It's 2026. It is what it is. But don't run around acting like a little gang-banging thug when you and your buddies are still sneaking behind the shed trying to measure which ones. Anyway, I'll get off of that. But anyway, just learn respect. Learn respect and learn to value other people, because not everybody's going to give a shit. You're going to cross that line one day and one of them old timers is going to take your ass behind the barn and beat the hell out of you. And that's just what's going to wind up happening. But as far as us as a species, we're fucked, dude. We are really screwed, because if that's what we're leaving our futures up to, we might as well just say fuck it. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I just want to throw this out there because I'll be honest, my shoot and shout was shit. So I'm going to replace it with something else, because this is something you can agree with me on, Ace, and that is on behalf of Doomed Outfitters and yours truly, your Warriors Heart champion, UPS, go fuck yourself. Yeah. These people, oh my goodness gracious, dude. It has been how many? I apologize for those earlier times in the show, Ace, where I was blaming you for that delivery, because that had nothing to do. You put the shipping label, you did your part, you paid these idiots, and they lost it in the fucking building somehow. These idiots for months now have it. That's the thing. I want to say, Susie, thank you for editing that photo, because man, it looks awesome to see what the belt would look like if they didn't fuck up their job, because it's like they lost this belt in the shipping for how many months now, Ace? Weeks on end.
And then money. That's my money that went into that.
he finally gets a response. They're like, oh, we found it. And then they return it to him. And just, if we can find a photo for it later, we can. They tore this belt to shit, dude. It's completely messed up. It's like the plating is all scuffed. Didn't the front faceplate fall off the belt itself?
It's on there and it's good, but it's like it definitely needs to be replated. Like they bent like the corner, if y'all seen the picture of it, the little parts that look like the little vines, or whatever, the stems, they're bent the hell and back. Like they really ruined it. And I'm like, oh my God, like all you had to do was just put it in the damn truck and let it go. And it sat in the damn thing forever in the back with stuff just stacked on top of it. And they finally found it and was like, hey, we got your stuff. That's supposed to be over there.
With how messed up this thing was, I was starting to believe they took it and started their own indie wrestling company with it. For God's sakes, this thing is roughed up, and it's like, thankfully, Ace was able to find it, and then the fact that he's making another belt so that it looks good, but pulling kayfabe wise, me and him are trying to figure out a way to make this work, and we have a cool idea. So keep your eyes open for the FWWC. We got something awesome coming up, but. Yeah, on behalf of me and Ace and the Warrior Star Championship program going into Universe Mania, thank you, fuck you, bye. Yeah. I'm never going to use your shit again.
What gets me is they don't understand, and just pull back the curtain, because everything that we do, and I know a lot of the group has been a huge help. They have, Renee and them put their money into it. The ones put their money into it. They have been a huge help with Doomed Outfitters. But I ate the cost of every bit of that, and I'm just like, oh, how much money? If they understood how much money I lost on that, and it was bad, and it wasn't just that, and it was other.
It's called insurance on it, Ace.
Oh,
you need to insure it, Ace.
You know what the insurance went to? The insurance went to give them refunds back to the customers that didn't get their belts when they were supposed to. That's what got me, because it wasn't just Gabe. It wasn't just the FWWC. This was people that had ordered titles and never got the titles. And I'm over here having to replate them. I'm having to do all this other stuff. And it's like, oh my God, when I'm trying to get this business up and going, and I'm proud of it. This is my baby. And I'm losing money. I'm eating money. And I'm like,
it's one of those things, man. It's actually stupid, and it's just, I'm hoping that it works out first. But it's like it's bad when Ace DMs me and he just said, dude, I should have just fucking driven it down to Florida. It would have taken less time. It would have been like, what, 12 hours? I mean, just forward them back. We would have been done. I'm only in Central. You don't got to go that far south.
Yeah, like, jeez.
Well, hey, real quick, guys. We just want to tell the Wrestle Talk family out there, don't forget to use your hashtags, man. Hashtag WTP. Hashtag, like my hat's been saying. Let's talk wrestling. In case you guys haven't noticed, that's scrolling across my hat.
I caught that. That was pretty cool. Look, I was wondering what that said, but I like your hat.
Okay, I got a really odd question here. When the hell did it start?
Well, it says right now. It says hashtag Let's Talk.
Yeah, okay, so my question, I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off.
Say what?
I got a question here. When did it become a hashtag and not a pound sign? Growing up, I always thought that was a pound sign. And my kids started saying hashtag. I'm like, what the fuck's a hashtag? What are you
I think it's a pound sign when it's on the phone itself, but like on the actual keyboard, I'll be honest, I have no fucking clue.
It's weird. They change everything.
On the internet, it's a hashtag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But no, I wore this to we had John and I went to a WDWA wrestling match on Saturday night, and I had such fun with this hat because I can change it in my phone, and like certain people would come out and I'd type in "you suck," so they would see "you suck," or I went in with WDWA on it, and there was I just kept changing it through all the matches, and people would look at it and then they would just and walk off, So I had a blast with this hat. And I'm still, as y'all can see, having a blast with it. So,
now.
But, yeah.
So I figure we're past it now. But if we would like to bring up our sponsors once again, just so we can get this before we go through the next half, because we got a little bit to talk about here in the professional wrestling world. So I was going to say, Susie, Ace, did you guys want to take the lead on this one?
Yeah, Spencer wants to pull it up here.
Actually, matter of fact, here, real quick before we do it, Susie, put it on your hat. No, it's going to take too long to type.
Yeah, it would. I don't know if I have enough space to do it all.
All right, so you got it, Susie. You're going to pull it up for you. Can you find it?
No, I was going to say pull it up on the screen.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking. Let me see.
All right. So the Wrestle Talk podcast would like to thank all of our great sponsors: Retro Zone Painter Stream Production, the Independent Saint Fame, Doomed Outfitters, World Domination Wrestling Alliance, and the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group. Guys, if y'all have not checked out any of these, by all means, check them out. There's something very, very well worth investing your time and money into. And, they help sponsor us. They're the reason why we're still on the air. Episode number 538. We couldn't have done it without them. So, yeah, check them out, man. And
now, since we mentioned in our announcements, you guys ready to talk a little FWWC?
Oh, yeah. Because,
hold on. One quick thing. Guys, when you're not watching Wrestle Talk, remember on those Tuesday nights that Wrestle Talk isn't on, Catch Elevation, WDWA, Hardcore Haas, and Gavin Jackson. And they put on a real good show. Always, yeah, Gavin's a great guy. If you don't know him personally, or if you've never had a chance to really talk with him, you should really take that chance sometime. He is a great guy. And if you're ever in the area and he's got a show going on, by all means, come check him out, because it really is a great show. Gavin does a wonderful job, him and his family. And I can't say enough good stuff about WDWA. And he really does also support the FWWC. And, of course, he loves Wrestle Talk. So it's always good to, have those guys around. But I think, Gabe, you were going to bring up the subject of, I think our next topic was going to be the up and coming WrestleMania and, what we think about the up and coming matches.
Well, and I wanted to throw it into the FWWC just if we could, just quickly. So we have a couple bit for our card right now as far as Universe Mania is concerned. So we have the two obvious ones that we can talk here in a sec. Well, I want to talk about a little bit of the intercard. So as our international champion, Susie, Badass American Diva, you have quite your work cut out for you in a former international champion with Hannibal Lecter challenging you. So I was going to say, were you the one who decided on him facing you?
Yes. Our booker guy, Mr. Mills, he came to me and he gave me a list of names and he said, look, do you want to do something to make them earn it? Or, do you have somebody in mind? And I actually said to him, there were two former champions here in the group who had been international champions. And when they lost the titles, they never got their rematches. So one of the names on the list was Lecter. And, I thought Lecter deserves a rematch. He never got his rematch. And I know it was a title. He was the inaugural international champion. So, I thought who better than him to go up against. And so I issued the challenge. Of course, he answered the challenge. And, he said, hey, with all due respect, this ain't going to be an easy match for you because I'm coming in this ready to take you out. And, of course, my answer to him is and always will be, bring it. If there's one thing people can tell you about this girl, my bad reputation, my badass American Diva, I don't back down from nobody. Even if I think that that there's no way I'm going to win this fight, I'm going down fighting. So, Lecter can bring all the blood, gut, gore, and all the, intimidation he wants, but it ain't going to bother me. I'm going in it to win it. And I am ready. I stay ready so I don't have to get ready. So, and if I honestly was scared of Lecter, I wouldn't have chosen him as my opponent. So
now I have to ask, is there potential for a stipulation for this match at all? And if so, if you had to pick one, which one do you think leans in your favor?
Right now, the thing is, I'm a 3-time hardcore champion. At one point, I was even known as the Queen of Hardcore, the first female in this group to hold the hardcore championship. So, hardcore matches, anything that is kind of crazy is not above me. Haas and I, we took on House of Horrors, and we were in a abandoned carnival match. We went through a mirror Hall of Mirrors match, where we were in the Hall of Mirrors and we were throwing each other through mirrors. And, I'm up to it for just about anything, heck, maybe we could even have a Haas family, or what do you call it? Down home Haas farm, we can go fight there with the pigs and the chickens, and let's go fight with the cows and the bulls.
It's a bunkhouse match.
There you go. Hey, I'm down for anything. If Lecter wants to do it, we can do it.
Oh yeah. So guys, now we are on the topic of FWWC real quick, and I would not feel comfortable continuing the show because I know we didn't get a chance to cover it on the last Wrestle Talk podcast, obviously shows. If y'all have not checked out the tribute show, unfortunately, the FWWC and the wrestling world has lost somebody very dear to us. Mr. Michael Carter, and the guy that we have grown to love and know and be feared, of or be scared of Voorhees here in the FWC. I think if y'all want to do a quick 10 bell salute, just to salute him, just in honor. If y'all have not seen the tribute, y'all shoot to the tribute show, watch it, and honor his memory. Feel free to comment all memories and stuff like that, and little stories. But if y'all want real quick, we'll take a quick deal, do a 10 bell salute. So,
well, before you do that, also to anybody out there watching, if you wish to send your condolences to the family, I do know at one time they were saying that if anyone wanted to send contributions to help pay for the funeral and the final expenses, hit up Dewan Mills. I'm sure he can get you the address to send it to. And I'm sure Mike's family would appreciate any help that anybody could give. And if you knew Mike, if you just knew the FWWC, you were even slightly familiar with Voorhees, just do what you can. Every little bit helps, and that's a great family, and they are in a real dire straits now that they've lost Mike. So, but Mike was a good guy. I knew Mike from the minute him and I both became a part of FWWC. Mike was a real good guy. He was always a sweetheart. I remember, and I think John told this the other night on the tribute show. I remember we went to Kansas City one time for a summer slam era show, and Mike wound up at a table all by himself and ordered like 3 or 4 breakfasts. And it was kind of crazy to see. I mean, everybody's ordering breakfast and Mike had 3 or 4 of them. So, and he ate them all. I mean, he was big boy and had a big appetite, but, and he was just that whole weekend. He was just so much fun to be around. So,
So the wrestling world does take a big hit in the loss of Michael. I just to throw my hat in the ring as far as it is. I only know him through the FWWC, but the man was always professional. Was a very, very good friend. Just in the fact that I won my first Warriors Heart Championship, and he hit me up and he said, "Just be sure to hold on to it." Yeah. And my only biggest regret is that I will never have a match with him. But I always hold out that. Maybe in the next life when I see him down the road. But as of now, Voorhees, we miss you. We love you. And Michael, we wish the biggest condolences for your family. And God bless.
Yeah. I didn't know him that well as far as, I just knew him in the group. And I know he was kind of on his way out the group by the time I come in. We kept in touch though after that, and I know he was in Georgia, and he was so excited. He hit me up. He's like, "Wait, you're in Georgia, and we can do a group. We can get together. We can do this." He knew I was a huge Four fan, and he got Luke in the house, another Georgia boy, but at the time though, we had a conversation about getting together and doing promos together, and it was just something because he had the mask, or I had the mask. Matter of fact, I still got it here. I had my Jason mask. I mean, I had the whole works, and he thought about trying to get together as a group. And I would have liked to seen how that played out. Really, he was a good guy. Anytime I've ever talked to him, he was a sweetheart.
I also remember the weekend that we were in Kansas City. Voorhees kept doing this little impression, and the impression he did was of Haas's first promo. And he was doing it almost word for word, and he had the voice down pat, and he just kept saying, "Come on, Haas, do it for me, do it for me." And then he would say something, and Haas would just kind of, by the end of the weekend, him and Haas were both going back and forth with the promo, and he was imitating Haas's voice in the promo, and he did a real good job of it. And every now and then, he just hit me or Haas up, and he would do the voice. And, nobody had a voice like Mike did. Mike had a great voice, but he liked to imitate Haas's video. And it was just, I think it kind of touched Haas that he thought so much of him.
So, in honor of Michael Carter, Voorhees, this 10 bell salute is for you.
I was 11. Hey, one to go on.
It's kind of sad when you think about it, but that's kind of in the last, 2-3 months, that's the second death in FWWC that we've suffered. The first one being Ayla, once known as Fallen, and eventually Yoko Kitsune. So, hopefully those two are up there and they're having their own little match up there.
Completely off topic as far as wrestling. I know she was a huge wrestling fan. I used to go there and watch it with her. And unfortunately, if anybody had caught my post on Facebook, our apartment complex, we lost our oldest tenant yesterday. The place was built in 1980. And this woman was the first of the 5 people that moved in. She has been here since 1980. And she passed away yesterday. And we're like, oh my God, like this place just seems so empty without her now, So in her honor, I'd shoot down there, drink a cup of coffee with her. And this morning, it just felt weird. I went down there with my cup of coffee and was like, this sucks, But, and it happens. And just like with the group, but the show goes on. We got a lot going on at FWC, and especially coming up WrestleMania. And speaking of, I got to
tell you, man, I got 2 of my beginning of the year. In mine and Haas's circle, since the beginning of the year, we've had 8 people pass away.
Yeah,
it's been 8 people, and an aunt, an uncle, my grandmother, friend of my dad's, a couple of guys that John Paul knew or JP knew in the fire and rescue when he was in fire and rescue, and it's just been crazy, and then not to mention all the celebrities that have gone since the beginning of the year. It's
been a rough
year. Crazy, but move on, and we have to do what we have to do.
Oh, yeah. But on other news, and it's just kind of throwing it out there. My daughter has set a date and getting married in October. So yeah, I'm paying for a wedding now.
I think that's where it immediately defaults.
Now we know why he's trying to sell.
I'm paying for it.
Oh yeah. No, but I'm happy. I am. I'm excited.
Nobody knows how to cut the tension quite like Ace does.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be great though, because I'm like, dude, I never feel old.
Yeah,
I'm not even one of them emotional types.
Grandpa.
I'm like, yeah. And I told her I'm going to embarrass the hell out of her. I'm going to get up there and cry. And we're down in South Georgia, so I'm going to do the hillbilly cry too, where it's like, just getting all into it.
Are you going to bring your sling maid and some French fried potatoes too? No.
Is she wants a what they call like a redneck wedding. Well, afterwards we just go play in the mud. And I'm like, yes. So this is going to be probably one of the weirdest,
I thought a redneck wedding was a shotgun wedding.
People.
And it's Luke Justice. Nice to have him.
See, that's the twist. That's our new FWC storyline.
Yeah, right. I mean, that would be a weird storyline, man. And she's interested in trying to get into this too, so it's kind of fun.
What's funny? The other day, I was driving my bus, and I noticed that the gas hand was getting a little low, and I didn't have time between the run to go and get gas. And I was telling my aide on the bus, I said, this is going to be funny. We're going to call and tell them the bus ain't working. And they're going to say, well, what's wrong with it? And I'm going to have to say, ain't no gas in it. I said, just like sling blades. So when you said that a minute ago, I was just like, oh my God.
Ain't no gas in it.
I got something similar. So when I first started driving, it was hilarious because, older cars. When I first started driving, we broke down, same thing, run out of gas, had to call my uncle up, and I'm like, hey, we kind of run out of gas and everything. We're a little, and he's like, hey, I left all that moonshine in the back of the car. And I'm like, that don't really work, does it? He said, man, pour that shit in there and show me. And I'm like, that is the most redneck thing I've ever done. I have literally driven a car running off of moonshine before. Now, it burnt them spark plugs up. Don't get me wrong. It messed it up.
I would imagine.
I mean,
but it got you where you needed to go, right?
It got me home, and I'm like, that was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. But I have literally used a case of moonshine to get home.
that is so incredibly, amazingly stupid. I love it. I'll have to
put one of those in the back of my bus. Yeah, I can see me putting moonshine in the bus now.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure that would be a part of education.
Now I want to take a moment since we're on the topic of FWWC, but and since we have Luke Justice in the comments section, if he's still here, I just want to have this opportunity to mention But Luke, what happened, brother? You said you were going to put the convict away. Mr. Luke Justice couldn't get the job done in a cage match.
Oh, called him out.
Well, and that's my thing, dude. I had money riding on you, Luke. I guessed every other match, but you were the one who let me down. So what's happening, man? What's going down? And also, just throwing this out there, but you better get on this roster soon, brother, because Bishop's coming for that record.
Oh, yeah. Oh, not to the rookies beat the veterans. What in the hell happened with that? That was just off, man. It seemed like the main roster's getting kind of handed it to them, you know?
I'm going to say I think the rookies got them. I think exactly what happened was that the veterans got a little too big for their britches. I think they assumed just because they were the veterans that they wouldn't be taught a thing or two.
Calling it ring rust. Hey, you know what? I can go with that. Absolutely. Ring rust. There you go. It's
ring rust. This is like his third match. What you mean? He's been doing nonstop wins.
Man, he's a Georgia boy. I
know. I was gonna say he's been winning. He's been doing good.
He's been doing good.
But you know what? I want to bring up another match that's happening at WrestleMania, and I want to know what the two participants have to say. I mean, first, you two guys are going to be tag teaming against the greatest tag team ever. Our current tag champions, the Slavia. But yeah, and then you guys later on, you're taking on each other for Gabe's title.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at.
Coexist? I want to know how you guys are going to do this. How can you be partners in one match and bitter enemies in the other?
Well, okay, so the thing is, you don't have to be bitter enemies to go for the same goal. And this is a story. If people have not paid attention, this is a story that has been 5 years in the making. Okay. And it's never been anything personal. It's never been like, oh, I'm just going to one up on you. Now, between us, it is kind of a game. Like, hey, you know what? I got you on this one. You get me on the next one kind of thing. And it's always a game. If you look at it realistically, who better to have in that position than two people had started when he was in the business before me, but we come into the business, started a group, started a movement that has yet to be duplicated when it comes to just how we come in and make that wave. My career just like exploded, and then his took off when it come to, winning titles. He's a almost three-time Warriors Heart champion now, so with stuff like that.
I may not have it the longest in terms of one reign, but between my three, I'm tying Mata's in terms of days held.
Oh yeah, I think it's about more or less like trying to better.
And speaking of Mata, let's just say, speaking of Mata, Gabe, you were kind of his, I guess he was your mentor, and he kind of took you under his wing and kind of taught you what you needed to know to become from this little wishy-washy guy to this kick-ass guy, and I got to tell you, as part of the La Familia, as part of that, it's good to see you grow. It's good to see you grow. It really is. It's good to see you. To you too, Ace. It's good to see you grow. It's good to see you do well. But Mata hasn't been around in a while, and of course we all know what Ace's thought on that is. But but I mean, how did it feel to have Mata as your mentor? I mean,
The thing about Mata is it's not necessarily what he tells you, it's what he doesn't tell you. The man is very stoic, and he has a very much mentality of you have to teach yourself. If he gives you, he's said as much on camera, which is that if he gave you the answer, it'd be too simple. And the thing he's taught me in doing that is that thinking too hard about something makes it more difficult. And once I realized that he wasn't necessarily changing who I was, he was bringing what was already there to the surface and refining it. It wasn't that he was trying to change who I was. It was that he was gripping that coal until it became a diamond. And I feel like he's imparted that in a way to where he knew he could leave the keys to the kingdom in my hands. And, that's me taking that on my shoulder. I feel like I've done a lot for the FWWC in what I do. And granted, my free agent status does point things in the other direction, but you guys know I'll never leave this group regardless. You know, I wear this championship because it's what I stand for. And the thing is, I can't help but feel like this match is 5 years in the making, not starting between me and you, Ace, but necessarily where it started with me and Mata. Mm-hmm. Because I'm reminded that you have a glorious opportunity here where, funnily enough, when I fought Mata for that championship, I lost. But since then, that was the catalyst that became Gabriel Aresene. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I have a glorious moment to impart that on you, Ace, because I know, you know, I am your younger in that in terms of age, but I am your senior in terms of my actual career in the FWWC. And I feel like this now is my opportunity to leave the FWWC to somebody else. The thing is, Ace, and I asked this to you, Assassin Syndicate to Assassin Syndicate, but comrade to comrade, do you think you're ready to hold this belt and lead this company into the future?
So the question, to answer that question, and you have to take it all the way back to what originally started, and we wasn't on speaking terms for a while there, because of the fact that my career took a completely different direction to where yours, you know, you got taken under the wing, you did this. Mine exploded right from the rip. I went almost 2 years without, you know, just undefeated. I went from my first couple of weeks facing, you know, matter of fact, the guy right here, one of your greatest champions in the history of this business, longest reigning world champion. I beat you
for now.
Yeah. So I turned around and literally right after that, my very first year, I win the hardcore title 3 times. I eventually wound up losing it to now what is the greatest hardcore champion, our greatest champion probably ever in this group, to Hoss. Right after that, I turn around. I'm a 3-time Spartan Star champion. Then turn around and had the opportunity to face Mata at one of our biggest events and fought him to a draw. And that's, to me, told everybody exactly where I stood with this business. And it wasn't the fact that, oh, well, let's see if he's ready to carry the business. No. I was ready to be the business and be on top. And to face him at, you know, Summerstone that year and fight him to a draw. Now, the initial rematch, we won't get into that. That's why I'm not the champion now. But, you know, and I believe that really was that kick in the butt to say, you know what? You still got a little bit to learn because you can't. You got to keep your eyes open. And I think for me, that was that eye opener. Like, hey, you reached that level. You've already proven, you know what, you fought the man to a draw. He can't say that, hey, you know, he actually beat me there, which is great. I have that over him to where a lot of people don't. You know what I mean? And that's something
self-included.
Yeah, that's something I'll take as an honor. You know what I'm saying? I'll take that as an honor. You take somebody of that caliber and say, you know what, I'm just as good as you. You didn't actually beat me. That's great. That's all I need to know. It's even with or without the title, that established where I stood in the business. And, you know, to take it where we've had since then, and me and you be in a position to where we're main eventing the biggest event of the year. And it's all been, and you know, me and you, hey, you know what? I won this title, you won that title. And it's a little game. We always, you know what, regardless of how that started, we're like, you know what, we're fixing to play with this. And we had an opportunity. We had it, you know, just to pull the curtain back a little. We had this idea, even from the rip, like, hey, you know what, we're going to have this match one year. We're going to have this opportunity to where we're going to main event for the main title. And everything has led up to this point. So it's all been about bringing it to the next level. You know, me bringing him to the next level. Look at how, I mean, his career skyrocketed after that little incident. And then, of course, mine too. So now we're in a position to where it doesn't matter who necessarily wins. It's about, hey, you know what? Let's elevate each other to a whole nother level. Let's take this story and make it not only something historic, but something that's going to elevate not only the both of us, but the whole group heading into the rest of this season. Because, and I know it sounds cocky, and it's not in any way trying to say that, you know, me and him is the guys, but this is the opportunity to be those guys in this group. And I think if anybody can pull it off, it's got to be one of us. And just the same with, you know, God, I hate giving y'all your flowers. Look at what you and Hoss has done with the group. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that was kind of a fluke deal. Me and him joke about it all the time. It was a fluke win. Then he turns around and takes that to, I mean, a level that none of us is ever going to match. That man is dominant. He's got his own Undertaker-like streak going right now with that belt. So I believe that between me and Gabe, between us four, sadly, I think we got an opportunity at Universe Mania to really write a story that's never going to be duplicated, never going to be touched. And it doesn't matter who wins. Yes, obviously I'm wanting to win, but even if I lose, I couldn't lose to a better person. You know what I'm saying?
Ace, I'm asking you this right
Mhm.
now. Are you going to win? I'm not asking you what's going on as far as you're going to give it your best and your all. I want you to look me in the eyes right now and tell me that you are going to give me everything you have to give. Are you winning this championship?
Be the next Warriors Heart champion. I'll put it that way. Going to be the next champion.
And I'm going to hold you to that because I want you to understand, and you're going to put me on the camera for this. I want you to understand that I saw in you this opportunity right now. And you need to understand that as your tag team partner, I cannot let up. I can't go easy on you for even a second. I want you to know that without a shadow of a doubt, I left everything in that ring the same way that Almata left everything in there for me. Where even if you are lying in a pool of your own blood, that you are walking that path to say, this is everything I built for this business. So it's right here in this moment that I'm telling you right now, our match at Universe Mania, I will leave it all in the ring. And that's because I'm challenging you here right now to a barbed wire death match.
Yes.
I'm giving you everything and anything that I have left to give.
There you go.
I want to know that you win this championship in the biggest circumstances.
There you go.
So Ace, don't let me down.
Oh yeah.
And you better be ready to kick some ass. We're taking these titles. We're taking your titles after this, Susie Haas, regardless of what happens between me or you. We're taking those tag team champions. This is the year of the Assassin Syndicate.
Nah. You know what, though? You talk about, how Mata helped you find yourself. Well, I was getting, and I'm not going to say Ace's name, but a couple of guys in the group were, doing shows and they were saying, oh, Susie's got to win this. And if she don't, she ought to think about, retiring, or maybe she ought to just leave for a while. And they just went on and on. Well, Mata came to me. And he said, you know what, sis? He says, you have untapped potential. He says, I really believe that. And he said, you are bad. He goes, and I do mean bad. And as we talked, he kind of threw out that badass American diva thing. And I was like, ooh, I was like, I am a diva. I'll give you that, and it was his pep talk that helped me bring out badass American diva. So, Mata kind of pushed me in that direction, and I took that title, which I now have held for 2 years, going on 2 years. Haas has held his for 3 years, and we don't intend to give up these tag titles much before at least 2 or 3 years ourselves. We will become the longest reigning tag champions. So good luck, guys, but, not this time, maybe next time.
Hey, I have a very
still,
I got a very serious question. Very serious question, because this is something that's been on my mind now. Granted, now, hey, y'all hold him to it. Y'all heard Hoss now on that little thing we had on that tribute show. If me and Gabe win, that little speculation between me and Hoss is over with, between the hardcore title deal. Here's the question I got, though. And with everything he's done, with all the pressure that's on Hoss right this minute, and if anybody can pull it off, it's Hoss. Sadly, I'm pulling for him. God, do not let me regret even saying that. What if he actually loses? That's the question. What if he actually loses, and he loses on the 3rd-year anniversary of that title? Do you think he's going to be satisfied with that title win? Obviously, he's going to be satisfied with the actual title reign, but do you think he's going to be satisfied, or do you think that's be like, hey, you know what, like a weight lifted off of his shoulders, now he can move on to something else? Because you got to admit, either he's extremely cocky.
He'll be disappointed.
Well, I mean,
he'll be a bit disappointed because
he's trying
hardcore. The hardcore title is his favorite. After all, he is hardcore Haas. So, and that was one of the first major titles he won when he came into this group. So, yeah, he's going to be a little disappointed if he loses. But, and I feel the same way about mine. I would definitely be disappointed if I lose it. But we have nothing to be ashamed of. We've done a lot here in the group, both of us, both singly and as a tag team. We've done a lot.
And so, both in and outside the ring, by the way. Admin wise, you guys have been hustling like crazy.
Right. So, I'm going to say this honestly. I think singly, when this group starts its Hall of Fame, we're going to be there. I really believe that. I'd like to think I'll be the first woman inducted, along with my first woman to do other things here. So I would like to think I'd be the first woman inducted. But, I'm just saying, I think both of us are future Hall of Famers. And I think our tag team is a future tag team Hall of Fame. So, on one hand, we really don't have too much more to prove here. We've proven everything we need to prove. But on the other hand, that just means, there's still more we can do and still more we will do. And
now I got a question though.
So if we lose,
yeah. So since you brought up the Hall of Fame deal, now that
I'm just saying, if we lose, it'll be disappointing. But
yeah, so that hadn't been something that's been created.
Yeah, neither one of us have anything to be ashamed of. So
yeah, so the Hall of Fame deal hadn't been actually technically created yet. So a time frame wise, when do you actually think they're going to create that? Because that would be neat. I got so many people that I know when I first started were like, oh yeah, definitely those folks. I would love to vote to put them in there. Obviously, a lot of them helped create, push me in the direction I'm at now.
Well, a few years ago they talked about it, but I just think Renee and Dwan really haven't had the time to sit down and really etch it out and form it and just bring it to life. So. I think when they do have the time to really sit down and
let's make this year that then, man. Let's light that fire. And if they're listening, light that fire, man. Come on. This is a historic deal.
I'll meet y'all in the middle with this one just because the Hall of Fame is a very big thing to get involved. But I know for a fact we got to look into this. I want end of the year awards. I want to see a vote from the people, but also from the board of directors themselves for most outstanding performance, rookie of the year, best match, best feud, best promo. I think there's a potential in that, and I think we need to start giving out our versions of the Slammies. I don't know what we're going to call them yet, but.
Well, you remember when I first started, that was one of the very first things I seen.
A few years ago, they even did rankings, power rankings. And I have to say, the last time we did power rankings, I was number 5 on that list.
Oh, wow.
So I was pretty happy with that. But guys, it's great to talk about FWBC, but there is one thing I do want to ask the two of you. Okay. Of the WWE card this year, which match do you think is the most gonna stand out, and who do you think in that match is gonna win?
Okay, so
think about the ones that have, like.
Because of the talent in the match and because of the fact that, all these guys are unpredictable, the Intercontinental title match. I honestly, I don't see Penta retaining, honestly. I think that he would lose. I don't see him retaining. I really don't. I think, unfortunately, they're using him as that in-between, just a placeholder. As far as a winner, it's hard to tell. A lot of these guys deserve a shot, and I believe they're going to pull one over on us and probably put it on somebody that just unexpected. I believe that's going to be the one that's going to blow everybody away just because of the sheer talent, and it's going to be that wow factor, almost like the very first Money in the Bank match. You know what I'm saying? Except for the title's on the line now. I want to see that one. That's the one I'm looking forward to.
And I'll be honest, I've made my point note about it. We didn't even get much chance to cover it, but like some of these feuds are just very slapdash. So it's like some of this Mania is very half-baked, but the shit that's working is working. And I'm torn between two. And it's between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Only because I really do like the direction Roman's at right now, but now I'm wondering how Punk is going to respond. But when it comes to overall hype and I always boil it down to no matter how shitty a card may feel, if there's one match worth salvaging, that's the reason to watch the pay. If I can buy a pay-per-view, I'm not buying it obviously, but back in the day, if you bought a pay-per-view and there was at least one match that you said, you know what, my money's worth was there, it's going to be Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. And I think it's because not only do I think it's going to live up to our expectations, I think it's going to exceed it. And I think it's going to exceed it in a way I want to squash in my heart. But my head tells me, even if Oba loses, and I'm telling all you this right now because I swear to God I hate the internet fans when it comes to this, when they go, oh, He lost in a major feud with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Oh my God, this guy's fucking buried. I fucking hate that word. I hate the word buried. People use it way too often. A loss is not buried. When you lose to one of the biggest draws in professional wrestling on the biggest stage of them all, that is not a burial. That's an escalation. You're getting better because of it. Yeah. But win, lose, or draw, I am so hyped to see these dudes clash. I just need that first minute where I know they're not even going to wrestle. They're just going to stare at each other. That's all I want. And this match, you know, my heart wants Oba to squash, but my brain is still telling me Oba's going to get this dub. I need this man to just, if the fact that this man has gotten as hardly over as he did, if he pins Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 1, 2, 3 clean, no shenanigans, no nothing, just bam, powerbomb 1, 2, 3. This will catapult this dude into the fucking stratosphere. He will be in orbit with how much hype this dude's gonna get, and I just want to see it happen. Now I have to ask Susie, what about you?
I think I agree with you on that one. Well, I agree with you on the Oba Fleming match, and I agree. I would love to see Oba take this one and go over. I would just love to see him go over.
Now, I will say,
I've never been a big Brock fan, but
good.
You know, like you said, even if Oba loses, you lost to Brock Lesnar, so I mean, it's not like he's a nobody, or you know, he's a mid-carder. So, you know, it's still, even a loss to him is still kind of a win. But I think the match I'm really both dreading and looking forward to is the Orton Cody match, because I love both Orton and Cody. You know, but I see a little bit of the old Orton coming out. You know, the voices in his head, and
I'm
kind of loving that. I really
fucking mid 2000s menace Orton.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Now I'm gonna throw this out there too.
Yeah.
I think the sleeper matches of the night. Oops, sorry. The sleeper matches of the night are going to be the women's matches. I think Liv and Stephanie are going to surprise the shit out of us, and I think Rhea and it's Jade Cargill, and you know, jury's still out on whether or not she's as effective as we think, but the woman has presence. She has star power.
I believe there's going to be an interference on that one, because I believe Bianca Belair is going to come out and interfere with that match. I think
they're still going to surprise. I think Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer is going to surprise us. That's going to be a sleeper. I think that match is going to actually kill it.
I think the sleeper is really going to be the tag team match, the women's tag team. That's probably going to be a sleeper. And at the same time, you got Gunther now against Seth Rollins. Like, come on, nobody really wants to watch the match. There's nothing on the line. It's really stupid.
Not like the problem is that okay, cool match. Where did it come from? Exactly. Like this. Why is this here? Or why is it that this Mania? You know, it's like he has nothing to do with the vision. He's just there. Like it's going to be a great match. That's the annoying part, is I know it's going to be great, but the whole time I'm going to be like, okay, but why did they fight each other? Like the only way they could possibly salvage this is if they explain that the Vision hired Gunther, and even then, that's me coming up with that idea.
Mm-hmm. And it's still not going to make sense. I mean,
no.
Come on, out of nowhere, really? Like,
I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine, but like,
yeah. I mean. So, okay, I got another question there. Who do y'all think?
Well, you know what, guys? We are actually coming up on 2 hours. Can you believe it?
We got to call it, man.
You guys believe we've actually been out here almost 2 hours now?
Really? Yeah.
Thankfully, yes, but I'm glad just that we were able to make it happen.
Oh. So, I'm going to take that a little bit and let you guys good night. Finish up whatever you all want to. Yeah, guys, you guys have a good night. And like I said, I'm going to back out a little bit. I'll be in the back there, you know, if you need me. So,
I got you.
Have a good night, and you guys just bring it home.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for coming on.
We're going to bring it home along with those titles.
Right.
No, but what was your question, Ace? Because we could kill a little bit of time here until we wrap it up.
So who do you think they dropped the ball on when it comes to actually having a match at WrestleMania? Because I got to go ahead and say it like this. Chad Gable, what was the point and letting Sami Zayn win that match. And it makes Sami Zayn, and I think that backfired on him. I'm not a Sami Zayn fan. I never really have been. I think he's the underdog, boo-hooing ass crying story. Who gives a shit? Okay, you've played that your whole career. At one point, are you going to grow some balls and quit being the underdog? Okay, that's lame. At this point, you're not the underdog. You're just a petty little asshole. And I really believe that this particular little stunt they just pulled with him winning the U.S. title and Chad Gable not breaking out and going into WrestleMania as the champion, I think they dropped the ball. I really do. Chad Gable should have been there. I really believe that they really screwed up not putting him on the card. My
thing is that I don't feel as strongly about Sami. I think he's good for what he did because he works best as an underdog. But this is all the cushioning I can give before this, but is the fact that this title change didn't need to happen now. Because I made the biggest argument about Drew losing the belt to Cody because at the very least that's a direction, and it's a payoff to the actual storyline. It is. I don't care what you say. It is the whole point. Everybody goes, "Oh well, Cody keeps getting title shots." It's like, yeah, because Drew keeps cheating. That's the whole point. He's getting punished. You don't get rewarded for being a bitch. It's the whole point, right? Yeah. And what I like is that it still establishes Drew as that dude. Because what the best part about Drew is that he's the guy who can just show up and win the WWE Championship. And that's something you can't teach. And that will forever be his moniker. And what I like is that when he loses the belt, what does he do? He leaves for a couple months, comes back, white hot. That's what Drew works with. This match did not need to happen this way. And I feel like it's a disservice to Carmelo Hayes. I don't mind that they want it. I don't mind that Sami was the person to fight him for it. I don't mind that Sami won the belt. What I mind is that they blew their load now. Because now, I don't know the direction they take with it. Like, is it another open challenge? Does he wait for somebody to show up? If it were me, the way I would have booked it is you take the past couple people that Carmelo has been defending the title to, and you make it a multi-man match. Or if you want to run the narrative of Sami Zayn, and this is just me getting really extra with it. This is how you run the Sami Zayn gauntlet as an underdog. You make it a gauntlet match. You make it to where you get a bunch of people who all want the U.S. championship, who challenged in the past couple weeks, and they're all fighting over each other over the belt. And then you can make a narrative out of everybody getting their numbers. You can make matches on TV to be like, hey, if you win this match, you're first place, or you get a spin, you get to pick first, whatever, right? There's your narrative. And then you have Sami enter first. And then he has to try to run the gauntlet. Whether he actually does is up to you. If he does, it makes a cooler story because he looks better when he's chasing the belt. But to do it now they've, the wheels have fallen off. Now it's like, okay, now Sami can't be I'm like, you're a 3-time U.S. champ or a 2-time U.S. champ now. You can't, you're not the underdog anymore, dog. It's like, I feel like it's the whole CM Punk, John Cena thing. It's like, you're the Yankees. You're not the bad. You've lost the plot. You're not the good guy anymore.
And see, what winds up happening though is it backfired. Look what happened to Daniel Bryan back then. He was the underdog, but then he played that story to the damn max, and we're like, okay, you're not the underdog anymore. You have beaten like 2 of the best in the damn bit, 3 of the best in the business, in the same damn night. You're not an underdog, okay? You're a legit fighter. Act like one. Quit being a bitch.
Yeah, no, I just the thing is that there is potential here for Sami, and the thing is that I wouldn't have minded this as an opportunity to turn Sami heel.
Yeah,
but it's like, I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I'm just like, I don't know. There's just,
and the direction I see them going there, I really think they're going to pull the trigger on Chad Gable being a heel again for absolutely no reason. And the crowd was really behind him when he come out. They was really pushing for Chad Gable. Why not just go ahead and give the crowd what they want? I mean, and he did this stupid gimmick for a long time. He gets injured doing it. He comes back, still gets this major push, as far as just from the crowd. They have a huge reaction to him. Give that man what he deserves. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. The thing is I can meet you in the middle because it's like, you feel strongly about Sami and I feel strongly about the booking of Sami. Yeah. And I agree that if you needed to get the belt off of Carmelo, if you needed to do something to kind of spice things up going into Mania and get the pieces moving and get the plate spinning, they should have let Gable be the one to win the belt.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because this man is long overdue for a singles title. Long overdue. And this would have been the opportunity to at least, hot potato the belt without it feeling stupid, because that's what they've been doing for the U.S. title. Because Ilya won it off of Sammy, who lost it to Carmelo, who would lose it to Gable, and so on and so forth. Now,
LA Knight, let's be honest, LA Knight. They
exactly.
have with him, and the fact that LA Knight's not even in title match. Let LA Knight could have been the one to do it. You know what I'm saying? Even whether it's the Intercontinental deal, whether it's the US, whether it's anything, LA Knight should have been in some kind of title picture. And I believe that they're just basically making him a joke. And age is really at the point now where you're putting it on people older or the same age that has already been there, done that. Why not make a star out of this man before he's too old to do it? That's what
this is what they need to do for LA Knight, because I've said it for the past 2 years. And if they want to do something interesting, they need to bring Money in the Bank back at Mania, and they need to make this dude win it. That is what this man needs.
Yep.
But we are currently closing up on it. So this has been us talking wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. So, man, 2 hours, bro. We made that go by with no guest either. I don't know about y'all. We got to do a version of this where we're doing commentary. Like, we just got to talk over wrestling matches. This is how we should do this format. Me and you just got to go live on like TikTok or something and just watch wrestling together. I feel like that's where this format would work better.
Yes.
But oh boy. So, but we have reached that point, ladies and gentlemen. So we got to hit those sponsors one last time before we close it out here tonight. But, be sure to give us your thoughts in the comment section. So as always, the Wrestle Talk podcast, I'd like to thank all of our great sponsors: Retro Zone, Painter's Dream Productions, head by Big Daddy Perry. Be sure to hit him up, tell him the Wrestle Talk podcast sent you. The Independent St. Louis Hall of Fame, Wrestling Hall of Fame, Doomed Outfitters, head by Ace right over here. We promise UPS can suck it. World Domination Wrestling Alliance, Elevation. Be sure to check it out. That's Gavin Jackson and Hardcore Haas. And, of course, the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group. That's right. It's just because he's not on the show here. But Ace, we got to do this again, man. I know that the last couple shows it's been me and you, but I really got to schedule it instead of us being the backup guys, right?
We're the backup guys, but hey, we always just take the lead. Like always, we take the lead.
True. Well, we're taking the lead now at the show. We're taking the lead at Universe Mania. That's what it said. This is what main events looking like, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, right here.
But as always, we want to thank you all very much for checking out the show here tonight. And thank you to Susie Haas for running the boards for us, helping us get through that second hour. It always helps to have a third opinion, third voice, so we're not graining on you. Thank you to everybody in the comments section. Assad, Sick, Luke, please don't be a stranger, man. We'd love to have you in the comment section. And on behalf of everybody, Luke Skywalker Roberts, Nathaniel Jones, that's Hardcore Haas, Susie Haas, Renee the Night Owl Martinez, Big Daddy P, Perry Hartman, and DeJuan Mills, Mr. CEO. That's Ace, William Bromlow, and the young lion with the old soul, Gabrielle Aresene. This has been the Wrestle Talk podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you and good night.